What's going on, YouTube, Instagram, or wherever you find me? Let's talk about should we be buying software companies right now? With the market being so volatile and the market is dropping so much, like what these charts are showing right here, and what news people are telling us, like in this video.
Software stocks have become ground zero for investors' anxiety over the possible disruption coming from AI. The software sector as a whole has lost about 30% of its value in just the last 3 months, with those losses accelerating this week, even despite some relatively strong earnings from leaders such as Salesforce.com, such as Microsoft. Now,
Personal opinion, should we buy stocks or not? Now, before I go into my personal opinion, what do I think AI is going to do in the software companies? How well are they going to be doing? Well, first of all, software stocks has been unusually volatile right now. Some index experienced a steep drop since 2008, with S&P North American Software Index fell by 15% in a single week. Now, the AI narrative are reshaping expectation, forcing legacy companies to pivot quickly or risk irrelevant. This creates uncertainty for long-term value and make it harder to judge if you should buy these companies or not, or are they on a decline. And personally, my personal opinion, I am not going to be buying any software companies right now because I have to see how they're going to be changing over time. Should you? Well, here's the big part that I see why it's going to be hard. Integration and operational challenge. Integration new software into the existing system rarely goes smoothly. Company often underestimate or complex demerger architects, data module, and workflow. Poor integration can slow operations, frustrate the teams, and erode value of the company. So this is where it's going to be the issue. Should you add it to your portfolio because they're doing good on the books? Yes, when buying still makes sense if you're trying to value buy. So if the product fills a criteria gap to your offering, if the tech is modern and AI ready, the team is strong and willing to stay, and it's a clear integration plan, you should buy the company. Personally, I still think AI and software companies are going to be going down for a while just because the uncertainty, the people who work there has a bunch of stock options and they're selling it and they do these mass layoffs. I think this is causing their prices to go down. And that's just my personal belief. There's no proof to it. And here's 4 reasons why you shouldn't buy a software company. You lack of expertise. So if you don't know what you're doing and trying to purchase a software company because of their name, that is not a good way to do it. Companies may not be necessary domain expertise or experience in your specific industry, which can lead to product and does not meet the needs or integration that the existing systems. The second reason why is overpricing. Some of these software companies are way overpriced, so it doesn't make sense to buy them. Number 3 is their readiness to change. Some of these software companies are still fighting against AI, refusing to change, and at the end of the day, AI is here to stay, just like Bitcoin, Ethereum. It's here to stay. How well it does or how bad it does, it depends on the market. So software is not ready for the organization process and needs may lead to frustration and inefficiency. And lastly, market trends. The software market is constantly evolving and companies may not be able to keep up with the latest technology or market trends. So these are the reasons why you should not buy AI or software companies. Now, let's look at some so we can see how well they've been doing and why they're dropping. But I pulled up the top 5 stocks to buy in 2026 in software. And what's my opinion on them? So let's look at that. First one is ServiceNow. They have dropped dramatically year to date, 30%. It could be a strong buy for you. The analyst says it's a strong buy. And do I believe the same thing? It might be recovering. For my knowledge, ServiceNow, let's look at the news, see if they came out with any news about them. How they're going to integrate AI so we can get a better understanding. So right now, it says the platforms allow deployment of an AI agent or model across enterprise enhanced automated efficiency. Okay. Integration with strategic partners with Microsoft, NVIDIA, Google, Oracle. All right. AI expertise, do new interface, embed AI agent into workflow, enable tasks. Okay, they're integrating, collaborating with OpenAI and future development. So it looks like they do have a game plan accordance to this. Now let's see what their news press says. So it looks like it partnered up with some people to get a better system. It doesn't really tell us how it's going to do it, but hey, it doesn't really tell us how they're going to really integrate it all and do it all, if they're going to build their own data centers or anything like that. So it kind of makes me worry how they're going to get it done with all the data they're going to need to process. But let's look at how they've been doing quarterly. So the last quarter, it looks like the company revenue's been growing from 2025 June, September, and December. So it looks like they've been growing, and they do have a good net profit. So it does look like they're growing, and looks like they are getting more customers. Let's see how their balance sheet's been looking, see if it's been shareholder equity went up, long-term debt, it's been stable, current liability, it went up a lot. So I wouldn't buy because that's a $3 billion liability increase. And then intangible assets, it went up to 2 billion. Fixed asset, well, it went up another 2 billion. And current assets went up 2 billion. But this liability went up about 3 billion. All right. Let's see how their cash flow been doing in quarterly. Looks like they just borrowed a bunch of money recently, about 2 billion, because they need it. So looks like they're personally, when I look at this investment portfolio, looks like it's burning through a bunch of money and borrowing money, because in March 2025 it had $1.4 billion, and then they spent about $1 billion in the next 2 quarters, and then they asked to borrow money, which could be reason why the liability went up. So personally, I think the growth is going to be there, but it's not a perfect time to buy it right now. Maybe at the end of the year, it'll be a good time to buy it, but I'm not going to buy it because one thing is not paying a dividend, and I'm working on a dividend portfolio. So personally, I'm not going to buy it because it's not part of my dividend portfolio, but this one doesn't look like it's doing too well. It looks like it's burning through a lot of money to keep up with the infrastructure. Now, here's another one, Zeta Holding. And let's see what the news says about them. First of all, I'm not going to go any farther. Their net profits in the negative for the last. It's negative last 7 years. I don't invest in any company that's negative profit. So this being a company that says it's going to do well, once it makes money, then I'll think about purchasing them. But this is a company I wouldn't purchase. Remember, I just pulled top purchases in 2026 for software company. And PLTR, future growth, earnings, and history performance. It has a 6, but year to date dropped 23. 1 year, it's up 59. Let's look at the finance. Negative, just hit the positive in the last 3 years. And let's look at the quarterly, see what they've been doing. So this company looks like it's starting to make money. Let's look at the balance sheet for the quarter, see if they borrowed any more money. And this is how we look. Did they borrow more money? What did they do? How are they expanding? And cash flow, capture expenditure. So it looks like there should be on the increase, but investment cash flow, negative 957. I don't like that. If their books look decent, they look like they're about to explode, and they are a strong buy. But for me, it doesn't add to my dividend portfolio, so I wouldn't be purchasing this anyways. But would I recommend buying PLTR? I think it's a good time to buy in if you want to write it out. I think it'll be growing soon. Now, Microsoft, they do pay dividend. They had a big dip of year to date 18%. And we know that they're building data center for Microsoft. They're building power plants but let's see what the profit is good. They've been positive net profit 47.32, 35.72. So quarterly, they've been doing pretty well. Every quarter, they've been looking like they're making about 70 billion. So it looks like basically they're doing pretty good. But let's see what happened to their long-term debt and current liability. See if it went up. Okay, so Microsoft looks like one I would definitely try to add to my dividend portfolio because it looks like they're doing just fine. So I might be adding Microsoft to my dividend portfolio. I don't think I have it on there yet. And it has a dividend payout. Let's see. It paid last month, pays quarterly. So I think this one would be a good one to add. And then last one, Oracle. So Oracle, again, year to date is down 25.89%. Is it a good time to buy in? Let's look at the finance. Quarterly finance. See how well they've been doing. They're in the positive for net profit. Their sales per quarter isn't really increasing. And I see that being a problem because it's just being stable right here. So I don't see the growth opportunity. And then let's see if they took on more debt. It looks so long-term debt increase in one quarter. They asked to borrow about $17 billion. Oh, definitely not. They're in a negative cash flow position. So this company I would not buy. But out of 5 companies, my recommendation is only 2 of them to kind of buy because they're in a better position. But Oracle and all these other places, I don't know how they're going to integrate AI. It looks like it's falling behind and it's just not keeping up. So should you buy software company in 2026? If you have the money and you're willing to take a high risk chance. Do I recommend the average investor buy software right now? No, because I think it's going to be dropping for the whole year until investors and they finish doing all the layoffs and everyone end up finish selling off their company-owned stocks and it's all these companies stay out. So that's my personal opinion. Now, You can think what you want to think, but personally, if you lay off 2,000 employees and each one had company-owned stocks and 90% of them sell it, it's going to cause a dip. That's what I personally believe. And that's why I think that these dips and everything else is going on. And the expansion and they're spending more money, it just doesn't look good in the social media. So people are upset and selling the stock. But that's just my personal opinion. Like, subscribe. Until Microsoft and everyone stop doing their layoffs, I'm not going to be purchasing them just because, someone could have 1,000 shares and sell it tomorrow if they get laid off. And hey, I don't want to be part of that. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos.